Дорогие ребята, we're headed to Stars Coffee. So I want to talk real fast about a topic that I have in my mind. Очень холодно. Здравствуйте, добрый день. Я говорю по-английски здесь. I'll speak in English real fast. We're going to Stars Coffee. So it's like a 25-minute walk. But I'm gonna talk about one of the main benefits of coming to Russia is that so coming from the USA, the main thing is because I'm on YouTube still and I still get recommendations from the West. So I see all the TikToks, all the Instagrams and everything. And a lot of the times in the US, for example, people will say, oh, this is going on all over the world. This is a worldwide thing. The world is this, the world is that. So these are people that live their lives primarily. Their lives are in the US. That's their world. And I'm speaking from my personal life because I'm from the US. So I can't speak about Canada or Australia or anything like that. I'm speaking from the experience of the US. So when they refer to the world, they're not really referring to the world. They're referring to the US, or probably more specifically just their state or their city or their experience within the country, you know. So since everybody's on the internet right now, if you're on the internet in the West, you get way different recommendations. You see things differently, then you get different ads than you do in Britain, for example. Right? If you switch your VPN to Britain, you're gonna get different ads. If you switch your VPN to Romania, you're gonna get different ads. If you're in a different country for long enough, you're gonna get different YouTube recommendations. So here's what happens that I think a lot of people in the US do not realize. They really do not realize this, that once you step outside and you go to a different country, you really get hit with the extent that you're being basically mind controlled and influenced. Now I know mind control is a strong word, but let's just call it influenced, right? It's almost shocking to me when I see US social media stories, social media things. It's all the same stuff. It's crazy. People don't realize that this is not reality, what they see on social media. This is literally what is creating their reality. They talk about the left-right paradigm. Oh, this is how the left does. This is how the right does. It's a literal poison, okay? So anyways, enough of that. The point is that once you come to Russia, especially if like you don't really know the language that much, you stop getting ads, basically. You stop getting ads, you stop getting these recommendations, right? So you just get silence, and you're not worried that much about you don't have, like, you, once you're in the silence for so long, you stop getting all that stuff, and it's just quietness. And it's basically like being on a totally different paradigm. People aren't worried about, I don't know if people are thinking about it, but you don't get the sense, you don't get the paranoid feeling anymore. So I don't know, I'm sure people still watch the news, right? And that's fine. But it's just different. It's just different. So what's the point? I don't know, because, you know, once you start with the video, you forget what you're going to talk about. But the point is that when you're stuck in that paradigm, it's almost like you're in some kind of black hole that you can't get out of. You're constantly surrounded by the internet and all these Western things. Every time you go on YouTube, you're getting recommended how women versus men, you know what I'm saying? Like how men need to do this and men are versus women. I mean, it's promoted very heavily into the Western mind. And I know you have to understand that this is straight up psychological. I don't know if it's warfare, but it's mind control. This is what controls basically what people think. So once you shut that off and you're in a different paradigm, basically, then it's just shut off. So you don't have to think about that anymore. People aren't thinking that way. And the worst part about it is, this is the US's problem at this point. This is something where it's like, okay, well, you have to decide, do you want to be a part of that? Because even if you do shut off the internet, you have to realize literally everyone around you is watching TikToks, Instagrams, whatever, you know, social media videos that they watch, and they're literally influenced by 100%. Even at the gym, for example, I go to the gym, right? I've been going to the gym since I was 15 years old. Okay, way before the internet and all that. Even at the gym, you can see there's a TikTok guy. His name is Sam. And you can see that literally most kids are influenced by the TikTok guy. So that's a perfect example about how things are, people are influencing people. So even if you don't watch the videos, you gotta understand that, like, everybody around you is being influenced by the videos. So you're in an environment, the whole environment is surrounding you. So that's one of the main things for me. There was a guy named Brett Dev who did a video, and he said that was one of the main things about moving to Thailand. Was in the UK, he was constantly being fed the news, and everyone around them was paranoid because of the news and what they saw and this toxic environment. And once he went to Thailand, everything shut off. Everything became quiet, and there was no more paranoia anymore. Primarily probably because we don't understand the language. Like, he doesn't understand Thai. I'm learning Russian, so there's a lot that I don't understand. But you could just sense in the culture it's different. Even like, I was at a restaurant yesterday and there was like Beyonce playing, but it's not processed in the same way as like Westerners process things. Like in the West, Taylor Swift fan, well, it's probably worldwide, but Taylor Swift fans are like girls who like take this lady's music to heart, and the music is toxic music. It's like really bad. It influences girls to hate men, so this is what the girls are growing up in. Just like when I was a kid, the popular music was about hating your parents and being a rebellious kid and coming from a broken home. So this is what evolves society. This is what evolves a population, right? Okay. So now I want to talk about one last thing. Hopefully that made sense. And it's, what's the difference between, I'm always thinking about this. I've been in Russia now for 8 months. You know, back and forth. I've been total time in Russia has been like 8 months. So it's like, what's the difference between Russia and the USA, for example? And I've come to this conclusion. If I had to say like the bottom line between Russia and the US, the bottom line, the main point, obviously it's not the whole thing, but if I had to say the main point, it's that Russia is a collectivist culture. It is, how do you say it? It is overshadowed. It's like, it's basically painted as a collectivist culture, probably based on, I don't know, probably their past. And so that people work, generally they're a cohesive group of people with a generally similar point of view toward a similar kind of ideal, kind of, even if they are different, they can agree, because I don't know why. Maybe it's how they were brought up, and they all kind of like are on one accord to a certain extent. Now there may be different shades in that palette, but generally it's a cohesive type of group, and people can have discussions and generally come to some kind of I don't know, agreement. In the US, and I'm using the US as an example, as a specific example of the West, but in the US specifically, and probably in the West in general, I can't even say the West in general, I'm gonna talk just solely about the US. The US is an individualistic culture. And furthermore, it's been ran in the past generation, starting from school, because that's how you influence children. It's been ran to separate the child from the family, which further propagates this individualism. And so, since it's so individualistic, there's no coming to one accord. And of course, they've like pushed this even more with immigration, which pushing immigration, literally forcing migrants into the country. But the difference between migrants in the US and migrants in Russia is migrants in the US aren't forced to assimilate, while migrants in Russia, either you need to assimilate and learn the Russian language, or you're basically an outsider group. In the US, you're incentivized as a migrant. They're given money, they're given free stuff, they're given welfare or whatever. So I think I'm lost. I think I went the wrong way. And so that's the story. That's why it'll benefit. You can even hear people that live in the US. I hear them. They speak from the internet. They're not even speaking from real life experiences. When you talk about, when people say, oh, like everyone's divided, right, left, whatever, people don't even understand that they're just saying stuff that they hear from the internet, and it's not even in real life yet. So, but the internet essentially becomes real life, and they can't even tell the difference. So when I need to look at a map because I'm gonna get lost. Hold on. Yeah, so when people talk about the US, like there's certain things that is true. Like it is violent. Sometimes there's more crime. In general, people are pretty nice. But a big problem is the internet. People watch these social media things, they get influenced by it, they get pumped up full of this, which is clearly not even real. But it's a huge thing, the division between men and women, because I still get recommendations about it, and it's like I can't even, it makes me sick to see it. And I remember, because I was watching it all the time in the US, and this will influence you whether you want it to or not, because subconsciously, you know, you keep getting the same information. Your brain is designed to basically, you have to actively fight against what you're being influenced. At least I do. Like, you know, I believe in manifestation. Obviously, a big part of my life is about how I create my own reality. And I watch a lady named Sammy Ingram on YouTube, if you want to take a look and see what I'm talking about. But she talks about, and a lot of the manifestation involves around, you need to curate what you are exposed to. So you need to be careful what you watch. You need to be careful what you listen to. You need to be careful who you surround yourself with. So me, I've spent a lot of time, and I put a lot of work into curating not only what I watch and listen to, but my entire life. That's why I'm in Russia. That's part of curating my life. I curate my environment. I curate who I'm around. I got rid of everyone in my life. You know what I mean? And I only allow in. Now it's to the point where you can't even come into my life. And it's not me it wouldn't be me that's preventing a person from coming in. It's because my energy is so different that it's literally like two polar opposite magnets. They cannot touch. They are repelled from each other. So people who are not like me, they're actively repelled from me. That's why I believe that this channel, the way it grows slowly, however it grows organically, only people who get me would even be on here. No one else would be on here. So that's why none of the comments are generally, they're not bad. They're all pretty positive comments. They're all very positive comments. It's because I believe that I repel anything that is not like me. I just wouldn't accept that into my life anyways, but I believe that naturally it wouldn't be allowed in my life anyways. That's the way it works. And it's not some special thing. It's a universal law. It's a law of the universe. That's why children are, as good as education is in Russia, you know, children are still taught from an early age, and that's what creates their reality, is what they're taught and what they believe. That's why children believe they need to get a job, they need to do this. This is not natural. This is taught to people. You're not born with the idea that you need to get a job. Now, I'm not saying a job is good or bad. That's not the point of the discussion. The point is that this is not an innate thing in you. It's not preternatural to get a job. This is something that needs to be taught. Even in the language course, the entire course revolves around jobs, getting a job. What did you want to do when you were a kid? And people answer, but they lie when they answer. Because when you're a kid, you don't naturally think of like, oh, what am I going to be when I grow up? Like, what job am I going to have? That's something that's drilled into children. American children, every children is part of the system. So me, it's like I never had a job that I wanted, and I believe that that's a true answer for me. People say they want to be an astronaut. I mean, who the fuck wants to be a fucking astronaut? That's a lie. I believe that that's a lie. This guy, look. Nice. Hi. Can I take video? That's beautiful. This guy's like, get the fuck out of here. Nice. Bless you, bro. So yeah, that's the point. The point for me is like going to a place like Russia or a different country, you're gonna get away from all that trash on the internet. It's trash. And what's happening in the West is sad, and no one can stop it because you can't stop a tsunami. You can't stop a tsunami. There's a million things in place that are creating what's happening in the West right now, and it's starting with the school system. It's starting with the media. A good way to gauge on what the future is for society is to look at the children and look how they're being raised. So if you see the West right now, it's easy to tell from the schools. They're just being taught to be a different gender. They're confusing the shit out of people. They're putting people against each other for no reason. So the West just needs to destroy itself, and that's pretty much the only way I can see it ending. And it's not a bad thing, and it's not a good thing. I mean, it is what it is. If a tsunami comes, is it a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, it is what it is. You can't stop a hurricane, right? I mean, it is what it is. You destroy, and then, you start over again. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I love Russia, man. I'm probably annoying people by filming, but we're almost here. Everybody's probably annoyed by me speaking English too, but I don't mean to annoy everybody, but maybe everybody likes it. I don't know.